Wrestling All Day podcast, and hey, hats off to you, Matty. And you're either on the gravy train or you're under it. And if you're not watching Wrestling All Day podcast, you're certainly under it.
Wrestling All Day Podcast Nation, what is up? We are live yet again. Yesterday, of course, we had Ed House, one half of the AXW Tag Team Champions, and now we have a man who has refereed in AXW, PPW, CZW, and you PPW fans know him as Santa Ref. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Johnny Rankin.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it. This is like only the second wrestling podcast I've ever been on, and I'm happy it's with you and Wrestling All Day Podcast.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. And I know you're a busy man. I know it's show weekend. You got a lot of shows coming up. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to do this. So right out of the nitty gritty, like I said before, CZW, AXW, 5-Star Wrestling as well, PPW. Now, I remember before with PPW, you had the long beard and a lot of fans would call you Santa Ref. Now, what was your first initial reaction when they started saying Santa Ref and started doing the ho 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 after every time you'd make a count?
It was so weird. It was something I never expected. I kind of was in shock the first time it happened. I really didn't know what to do. Should I react to it? Should I not? Should I play it up? Should I just let it go? But I mean, they were great. I kind of think that really showed that they kind of accepted me there at PPW. I'd been reffing there for a little while. I mean, the beard wasn't that crazy, but it just kept getting bigger. And, that was my pandemic beard. So I just wasn't trying to get rid of it, even though we were out of the pandemic a little bit. But no, man, at first it definitely was a shock. But later on, it was it just felt like they were letting me know that was a good place and a home for me, which was awesome.
It's fair. It's very good way to put it. Like I said before, when I first heard it the first time, I didn't even I seen you come out with the beard, and I made the joke to my mom because she was sitting with me. I was like, "Oh my God, there goes Santa Claus!" Because it was the Christmas show. And right after that, you were in the ring, and you were oh my God, I can't remember who was in the ring, but you were counting them out, and you went 1, and the crowd went ho ho ho, and I'm like, "Oh, there it is."
I know. I was like, "What's my name, Chris Kringle or something?"
So you've refereed in CZW as well. Also, before I go any further, I seen it on your Instagram story that you mentioned this month is your 10-year referee anniversary. So congratulations to you on that.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I started training in June of 2013. With New Moon Rising Wrestling in Deptford, New Jersey. And, I've been off and rolling ever since.
Well, I mean, it's been a great career so far. I've only seen you for probably roughly about a year and a half, but you're easily one of my favorites on the independents.
Oh, man,
easily.
Thank you so much. It means so much to me. It's been a long climb and a long 10 years. I've done it. I know this funny story. I was actually just talking to Dave Adams about this at the last Battleground show. We both kind of started almost at the same time, working. I was reffing, he was ring announcing, and we started out doing it in front of 10, 15, 20 people. And now it's 200, 300, 400 people a night. It just shows how far we've come. If you just stick with it and be consistent and keep showing up, no matter what, it gets better. So thank you. It's awesome.
I would imagine so. And also, we have a comment here, a YouTube comment from Tom Losinger. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Saying,
Yeah.
congratulations on your 10 years.
Thank you, Tom. Tom's the man, man. He actually was an umpire at Deep Run Little League for years over in, what's that, like Souderton area, Percy area, PA. Good guy. He's a great guy. He's at so many shows every weekend, whether it's Jersey, Pennsylvania, Philly, like he's all over. Tom's the man.
Well, Tom, I definitely appreciate you checking it out. And again, congratulations to you, Johnny, on your 10-year anniversary of you becoming an official. Now, refereeing for 10 years, that's a long time to be in the game.
Yeah,
So
bro.
has there ever been a match or a moment where you were in the ring and you said, oh my God, this is like the biggest moment of my career, or this is something that's going to go down in annals of history?
Um, yeah, and there's been like good and bad moments like that. So one of the biggest moments that I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe this is happening. Was at the Battleground Championship Wrestling show at the ECW Arena like a year and a half ago.
Mhm.
I want to say it was the Christmas show, Christmas 2022. And one of the first match was Jerry Lawler versus Bubba Ray Dudley. And there's a spot in the match where Jerry Lawler he threw a fireball at Bubba and he missed him and he hit the ref that was in the ring with the fireball. So I get tapped. I got to run out there and kind of like save the day and finish this match out. And I get out there and listen, this was huge for me. Like being with Battleground is like the best thing that's ever happened to me. I've been with them since 2017 when they were running shows at the Sportsplex in Feasterville, PA. And now they're running shows at the ECW Arena. All I ever wanted was to be a wrestler, a manager, a referee, something in the ECW Arena. I grew up on ECW. Like when I was in 8th grade, I caught onto it in like 94, 95 maybe. So to be in that building at all as a worker means the world to me. To run out, slide in the ring, and be between Bubba Ray Dudley and Jerry the King Lawler with all the history, all of the accolades, everything that those two guys have done in our industry was absolutely unreal to me. It was the most surreal moment ever. It was incredible. I can't even put it into words. Like I probably cried a little bit that night on the drive home. Like I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. Just to be like a part of that incredible special event and match was so dope. So dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting to be in there with two Hall of Famers, that's got to be literally like a moment that you're going to tell your grandkids about. Like that's a moment that's going to be in history.
The other thing that was really cool is like, I mean, in the moment it wasn't really cool, but like after I thought about it, it was like Lawler's choking Bubba Ray Dudley in the corner. And I'm counting them, but I don't want this thing to end. So I grab Lawler from behind to pull him off. And he turns around. He gave me this crazy look. He took one step at me and pushed me to the ground. Now, like, it sucked getting pushed to the ground, you know, in front of all those people. But at the same time, those were the same hands that slapped Andy Kaufman on David Letterman. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, just think about that. The two sides of that whole equation that like I got connected to in one moment and instance are amazing. So cool. Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest. But I'll tell you what, another time that was really got me and like was like I kind of am like getting somewhere was in 2019 I had the privilege to go out to the Gathering of the Juggalos with a couple of buddies of mine that are in the group, the Wolfpack. They're rappers. Shout out to Buddha and Legs from the Wolfpack. And they got me put on to JCW out there that whole weekend. 3 days of shows every night at 1 a.m. I reffed Madman Pondo and Jimmy Lloyd. I refereed Nyla Rose. I refereed a Katrina, a bunch of great talent on like a pretty big, incredible stage. Like they had a ton of backdrops, a ton of like stage stuff. And there was like 2,000 people coming out every night.
Yeah.
Biggest crowd I've ever been in front of. And after the second show, I came out of the ring, and the Rude Boy, if I don't know if you know who the Rude Boy is, but he's worked for ICP forever. I'm actually wearing a fucking ICP shirt.
Oh, dude, that's fire.
But I was coming off, and he just like clapped, and he was like, "That's what I'm talking about." And that was like, to me, like, I've kind of, in a way, made it. Like, I belong here with people that have been doing this forever. The last night was an all legend show. It was everybody from ECW. Tracy Smothers was there. The Franchise, Joel Gertner, Sabu, the Sandman.
Wow.
Like, I sat backstage and basically smoked Sabu out for like 3 hours. And he just talked, and he literally talked just to me for 3 hours. It might have been because I had a pen and I was giving it to him, but that was the coolest shit ever. Like, we had like wild, cool, like everyday conversations. It was like a side of him nobody gets to see or experience. So that was like another time that like really made me think like I'm going somewhere and I'm doing good and cool shit.
Oh yeah. So going from the 2300 arena to the Gathering of the Juggalos, what is the big contrast there?
The big contrast. So for me, it wasn't that big of a difference. Philly crowds are pretty vicious, and they're bloodthirsty and they're raucous, and they're all over you, and they're waiting for you to mess up and make a mistake. And I've been, down with the clown and a juggalo since I was like 12. So I already knew going in what it was going to be like. And it was everything I thought it was going to be. And Philadelphia prepared me to be there and to know what to do and know how to shake it off. And like, it's all in good fun and whatever. I went to the Gathering of the Juggalos in 2001 when I was 21. I did the Madman Pondo wrestling seminar there. Nyla Rose was actually there then. He like slammed her on a ladder that day. But yeah, like I already knew. I already had a clue. Like some people that don't get it and like aren't into it have no idea what's coming. But I was already ready.
Yeah, I've had a couple of buddies that have gone to the Gathering. I have a couple buddies who are going to be going. I believe I don't know if it passed yet or not. A couple of my buddies were supposed to go this year. I've seen the videos on YouTube. I've seen the videos all over the place. I've seen all the Bloody Mania events. The last one I watched, Colt Cabana came out, and he was like a police officer, and he was getting trash and shit thrown at him. Did you have anything like from the crowd thrown at you that might have like hit you or?
Oh yeah, they threw like a whole bottle of Faygo, and it like hit me like right in the side of the head, and like flew off, and I no-sold it because I was in the match, but it was the dumbest move ever. I should have sold the shit out of that and hit the deck. They would have went nuts, but I just was like so focused on what was going on that I just no-sold it and kept working.
I mean, honestly, that sounds like a dream. Like I'm not I'm a huge ICP fan. Like I'm not into it as much as I used to be when I was younger. But I've always wanted to go to the Gathering. I've always wanted to see a JCW show, and the fact that you got to live there, live it, and actually be a part of one is absolutely fucking awesome.
Yeah, man, it was super cool. It was, it's like one of those things that like your life kind of comes full circle. And that's exactly what it was. It was so dope.
Well, that's again, the 10-year journey. It leads you all kinds of different roads, and especially for you being, I love your shirt, by the way. For you being such a big fan of them, it had to have been like probably like a crowning moment for you. But like I said, you've refereed now the Gathering of Juggalos. I didn't even know you did that. That's awesome. There's that. You refereed in the 2300 arena. You refereed in the historic Hamburg Fieldhouse. Where's your favorite place that you've refereed outside of the 2300 arena?
Ooh, wow, that's a tough one. Man, I I really liked refereeing at H2O for On Point Wrestling. I always love refereeing for On Point, no matter what. Um, so that was a great building. There's also a building in Westville, New Jersey. It was the original New Moon Rising wrestling building. Then it
Mhm.
became the Super Crazy wrestling building and entertainment center. Um, that's where I got my start. Um, Jake Bishop, O Dog, they put me on, and they were behind me from the beginning. So like that building always has a special place in my heart. I started out as a manager, managing there in 2013, and then went to Refin. It's a great building for wrestling. Unfortunately, they don't have it anymore. Um, but it's just a great open building, super high ceiling, lots of space to work. Great place for like a big ring or two rings.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I would say 1340 West Delsey Drive was my favorite building for sure.
Always go back to the humble beginnings. I like it. I like that a lot. Now, my question to you: what was crazier, refereeing for the Gathering or refereeing in CZW?
Um, wow. All
I know
right.
both get pretty wild.
So refereeing most of the CZW shows that I've refed have been in Maryland at the State Theater, and that is actually a super cool venue too. I would have to say, like modern venues that I'm working consistently, that's probably one of my favorite because it's like an old theater building. It has like old movie theater seats and a stage and lots of really cool artwork about like the history of the place and all the acts that have gone through it. That is a super cool building to work. It's got a great look to it too. Um, I really do like that one. But the thing that's crazier than the gathering was refereeing Tournament of Death in Delaware. I did that last September. Um, so I have like a little bit of a bad history with deathmatch wrestling.
Mhm.
Um, what was it? May 14th, 2022. I put my hand in a light tube in a match between Matt Tremont and Kid Osborne. It was the first pinfall of the match. I went to count right on the corner of a light tube. I didn't even see it. I punctured my palm of my hand. I cut 3 tendons and a nerve, my ulnar nerve,
God.
major nerve that runs up through your hand. Um, I was bleeding like a stuffed pig. I jumped out of the ring. I got attention immediately. One of the guys, Billy Tipton, thank you. He was a paramedic. He really helped me out, putting pressure on my hand. Got an ambulance, went to the ER. I ended up getting like surgery to repair the tendons and the nerve. I did like 9 months of rehab. Um, so death matches are definitely not. I don't mind them. I don't
Mhm.
like them either, but I'll do them.
Yeah.
Um, but after that, to go and do Tournament of Death with 10 times as much glass and light tubes around, That was scary, and that was like I was on nerves all day long, but I got through it. Got to work with a lot of great deathmatch wrestlers. Um, Mickey Knuckles, Necro
Hmm.
Butcher, um, a bunch of great people, and got through it and had an awesome time. So, I would say that Tournament of Death is definitely crazier, just because like the hazards and the potential for like an utter catastrophe.
Yeah. You mentioned Necro Butcher. That dude, oh my God. I've never seen him in person, but I've seen some of his videos on YouTube. Oh my God. That
Yeah,
man scares the hell out of me.
bro, he's the coolest motherfucker there is. Like, it don't matter who you are. If you just are cool, he'll be cool as can be.
Yeah.
Super nice guy, really easy to talk to. He was awesome. He took care of me. He was super dope to be around. Yeah,
Good. That's a good thing. Because, I mean, I've heard a lot of horror stories about CZW, and I remember watching a couple of videos on YouTube of the old CZW. I remember one match specifically. I think it was, what was his name? He was facing John Moxley. Uh,
Nick Gage,
no, not Nick Gage. I think it's was it Brian damage or brain damage? I don't remember exactly what it was.
Brian
What his
Damage.
name was.
Brian
Yeah,
Damage.
he took a sawzall and put it on John's head and ran it. Now I've ran a sawzall. I've been cut by a sawzall. I
Yeah,
couldn't imagine being okay with somebody taking one across my forehead. Like, come on.
nope, not for me.
We got a comment here from Tom again. Now in, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, City, New Jersey. Fundraiser for Black G's, good venue. O-Dog is a great guy.
Yeah,
Yes, the fundraiser for Black G's, I believe that's still going. I hope that's still going. If I had the link, I'd be able to put it in the comments for you guys so you guys can make sure you guys can go and donate to that.
yeah.
And then Tom, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there is a GoFundMe up for G's, and anybody that's able to support G's, please do. He's another dude, is a really good guy, and he's a really
Yep.
fucking good wrestler. And what he's going through right now, man, is I couldn't imagine it. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. He
Not at
doesn't
all.
deserve it. He's a good dude, a good family
Mhm.
man. If you can, just go on GoFundMe, search Black G's fundraiser, and please donate if you can, for real.
Yeah, most definitely. Chat, if you guys are watching this, so whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, make sure you guys do that. I've only met him once, and it was by accident at was it BPW or PPW? I can't remember, but I ran into him. I was coming from the concession stand, he was coming from the locker room. We bumped into each other, and I was like, "I'm sorry for bumping into you. I didn't mean to bump into you." And he was like, "No, it's cool, it's cool." We talked for a couple minutes. I'm like, "What a cool guy."
Yeah,
Anybody else would be like, "What are you fucking doing?" And I was like, "But yeah, he was really cool, really, really cool guy." So if you guys can donate, make sure you do that.
yeah, for sure.
I got another comment here from Tom. I'm assuming this is what he was about the night you got injured. He was there that night. Scary moment. Glad you're okay. I'm glad you're okay too.
Me too. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Just a
I
freak
remember
thing,
seeing
man.
you. Oh, good. I'm sorry.
Just gonna say it's just a freak thing, man. Like some light tubes just have dust in them. They're not frosted tubes. And what happened was the tube opened up and all the dust blew out and he couldn't see it. It was like
Oh, okay.
see-through on the mat. And it was just the corner of it, like the bulb, the back end. And I just hit it the wrong way and went right through my glove, cut my hand. I was pouring blood out the bottom of the glove. It was wild, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, I remember seeing the pictures on social media after it happened, and I remember seeing you. I don't know if it was the month after. So I remember seeing you after at PPW. You had your hand all taped up, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "And he's still here." I was like, "Please don't tell me he's actually go out there and ref with that." I was like, "Now hold on."
That happened in May. I was back by August in Battleground. Battleground was
Yep.
my first show back.
I remember seeing you. I think it was later that month at PPW as well. And I might have bumped into you for like 10 seconds and said it was great to see you back.
Yeah, man.
But it is great to see you back. It's great to see you doing what you do because you're damn good at it. You're damn
Thank
good
you
at
so
it.
much. I appreciate it. You have no
Very
idea. Like I came from nothing, man. I started doing this when I was 30 years old. I always wanted to be a wrestler or something in wrestling. That's all I've ever thought about or wanted to do. But like I'm not a big guy. Like I'm 5'3" and a half. And I've been told my entire life, like, you're not big enough, you're not strong enough, you're not smart enough, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, you're gonna get hurt, this and that. And um it was something that just like ate at me for my entire life until I just went for it. And it's been the best experience I've ever had throughout all these 10 years, ups and downs, everything. I wouldn't trade it for nothing.
I respect that. I respect the hell out of that. And like I said, you seem extremely humble, which is always nice. You know, there's a lot of people in wrestling, especially a lot of the bigger names, who have a huge ego. So it's great to see somebody who's so humble. And you're a great person to talk to, by the way. Like, I wish you would have did this sooner. Like,
I do too, man. I mean, see, like the thing that really was hard was like when I was like a teenager in high school, the internet wasn't what it is now. Do you know what I mean? Like the internet was like nothing. It was like text on the screen. There's really no reaching out and talking to people unless you had like their AIM address or their email.
Yeah.
And not every wrestling company put all that on their page. So like the only way I knew how to get in was the WCW Power Plant or the ECW House of Hardcore because they were advertised on TV. And I figured like the Power Plant was like in the South somewhere. I'm never gonna get down there.
Yeah.
But like I might be able to get into the House of Hardcore, you know, and that was my only goal was like get out of high school, move to Philly, go to the House of Hardcore, maybe take some classes at community college, whatever. But that's all I thought about. And like I had zero backup plan. I had no want or desire to do anything else. And I graduated in like the beginning of June 2001. And 2 months before that, in April 2001, ECW folded forever. So right there, before I even graduated high school, I was devastated. Like my dream was gone, not happening. And like I didn't know about a whole lot of like indie shows at the time around me. Like I didn't know where to go to like talk to anybody to get in. So I was just lost. I thought it was like, you know, a done deal. I got to get like a shoot job or something.
And those suck.
Yeah, tell me about it, bro. Tell me about it. But you know, eventually I figured it out and got in somewhere.
Dude, I remember when I was in school, I used to watch WXW when it was on Service Electric. It was like channel like 4 at like 10:30 at night, way past my bedtime. I probably shouldn't have been doing it. My parents, you know, they were okay with it once they found out it was wrestling and nothing else. So they were happy with that. But I've always wanted to get into the business. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say when I was a kid, like I was born in like the early 80s. So by like 85, I was 3 and watching wrestling. But this is the very beginning of cable television. And my dad is a huge sports fan, so we had cable TV right away so he could watch as much sports as he wanted. But back then, like most cable television networks were built, they needed content. They were built on wrestling. You had WWF every Saturday morning and Saturday night. And then Mondays, you had WCW every Saturday night at 6:05. Every night at midnight on ESPN, you had AWA. And a lot of times they would be in Atlantic City with AWA. What else? There was so much all the time on cable back in the day. And I watched all of it. I mean, I'd be like 5, 6 years old up in the middle of the night watching whatever was on.
Yeah. I remember my first experience with watching wrestling. I had this old videotape. My brother gave it to me. R.I.P. AJ. He gave me. It was the Best of Survivor series.
Nice.
And in that video, Stone Cold. I don't know if it was on a preview or whatever it was. The only thing I vividly remember from this was Stone Cold stunning Dustin Rhodes while he was wearing a diaper and throwing him into a porta potty. And I was like, you know what? I love this shit. Like,
awesome,
that's all I've ever wanted to do now.
It's awesome, man. Glad you're doing something, man. You're doing a real good job with this.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. Like I said, this is my now I've done an interview with Earl Hebner, but that was in person, which was really nerve-wracking. Like
that's
extremely, like he's sitting right there, and I'm like,
that's like one of my referee heroes, man. I love him.
Yeah. You were there when he was at the PPW shows, correct?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, he was great. Got a picture with him, talked to him for a little bit.
Yeah,
Very
Earl's a
cool guy.
fantastic person. I know he's going to be back in the area for the Icon show. July 1st, he'll be back in the area.
Yeah,
Um, are you going to be working at the battlefield or the battleground that night?
absolutely. Yeah, I'll be there at Icons during the day, and I'll be there for Battleground at night. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Those shows are always fantastic. I've stayed for one. Now you've been to the 2300 arena. You know how damn hot it gets in that building.
Oh
There's a
yeah,
lot of
man.
people out there who don't understand that even in the winter, that building is 110 degrees.
Yeah, there's like nothing they can do about that, and it's been like that forever. I mean, I remember
Yep.
going to ECW shows in like late '96, '97, and like, yeah, it would be like October and cold, but you'd be sweating your brains out in there. You'd have
Yep.
to take your jacket off, tie it around your waist so you don't lose it, or it doesn't get ripped off and you're thrown in the ring. Um, yeah, dude, hell yeah. Yeah, like I went to a show, the first show I ever went to, a kid in my neighborhood's dad took us. It was like very early 96, like January 96. He drove us down. We waited outside the parking lot. The crowd was crazy. They were crazy the whole time. We went in, had the greatest, one of the greatest times at a wrestling show ever. And I was just hooked. It was like every other Saturday night, I would just lie to my parents. And I'd be like, all right, I'm going to go ride my bike over, Jeff's house or whatever. And I'll be back in the morning. I'm going to sleep there. And they'd be like, oh, all right, whatever. And I'd jump on my bike and go out my neighborhood. And instead of going right to my friend's house, I'd go left and ride to the train station, ditch my bike under the train platform, get on the train, money that I like saved up or like
Yep.
scrapped off my pops's nightstand and like took the train down. Got there, I would get off at Market East Station in Center City, Philly, walk 3 miles to the arena, hang out outside, have fun with everybody, bullshit around, talk, go in and just like have the greatest time ever by myself and with everybody that was there. I used to sit like right below the crow's nest in
Mm-hmm.
like the mid to the back row. It was
Yep.
the best shit ever. Best shit ever.
Yeah, I remember going there my first MLW show, 2021, for Battle Riot. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this is cool. I'm about to go to the ECW arena. We're about to see some cool stuff go down. And I love Battle Royales, so that was perfect for me. I was like, yep, that's what sold me on getting those tickets. And I'm like, okay, it's hot outside, but we'll get inside. There'll be air conditioning. There was none.
Oh yeah.
There was none.
At least you were there when they had the new bathrooms, man. Back like in the like late '90s, the bathrooms were disgusting. The toilets were always the toilets were always backing up. There was shit and piss all over the floor all the time. Like it was awful, but it was the best. It was like
Yeah.
the best place for a show to watch a show ever.
Yeah.
And it was because of the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see all the videos on YouTube, see all the videos on the network. That doesn't know justice. I've known plenty of people who have been at ECW shows. I've talked to some of the wrestlers who have been on ECW shows, and they said that there's nothing that nothing can replicate that. Nothing can ever replicate the authenticity of that ECW crowd.
Way.
One of the greatest crowds of all time. Let's see. Do we have any comments here? No new comments yet. I just moved my camera. Uh-oh. But yeah, we talked about CZW, we talked about PPW. You want to talk about 5-Star Wrestling a little bit? I know they just recently came back.
Yeah, we could talk a little bit about 5-Star.
Alrighty.
So 5-Star was running in Williamsport, PA, like I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, maybe more than that, probably like 10. I'm not really positive.
Mhm.
But the way that I got into 5-Star was the promoter Joe. He was running 5-Star and he closed down.
Mhm.
And instead of starting 5-Star back up in 2001, he decided to start another company called National Championship Wrestling. And he
Okay.
started it in Follinsby, West Virginia, at this old high school that was it was like abandoned, or it was going to be condemned, or it was
Mhm.
just no longer in use. But they had a great big gym. It was awesome. And I was training at the Super Crazy building. Deshaun Pratt was the trainer. And he said he was going out there and he's like, yo, bro, I think they might need a ref. Like, you should probably come out. And I was like, really? You think? Then he was like, I don't know, but I think so. I'll text the dude and see what's up. And he texted Joe, and Joe was like, I'm not sure. I might need somebody, but I'm not positive. I got 2 refs, whatever. So I just took the chance and jumped in the car with Pratt and took the ride out to West Virginia, and ended up only one other ref showed up. So Joe, to his credit, put me on sight unseen, just because he needed somebody. And I did a pretty good job, I thought, and so did he. And I've been working for Joe, whatever he's running, pretty much since. And I mean, it's been a great experience for me. The first time I ever worked any real name talents that were like recently in the WWE was for Joe.
Mhm.
I refereed Deshaun Pratt against Matt Cardona. I refereed Bro Keller versus Hawkins, Kurt Hawkins.
Mhm.
I refereed Redbeard versus the Beast Man. So like that, those shows, and Joe like really gave me like a lot of really good opportunities to like kind of prove myself that like I could do this at a high level. And
Yeah.
it was because of Joe that I was able to ref in front of Paul Bowe, who, as you know, is the ring announcer and commentator at PPW. And because of that, I got into PPW. I'd wanted to work at PPW since like 2019 when they started. And
Mhm.
I had been emailing and sending cards and tapes and stuff like that to Anthony and Paul, but they had people. But when I
Yeah.
got in front of Paul and I got Joe to get in his ear and give me a shot, I got put on there. And I'll never forget the first match that I had there was Casey Navarro versus JT Dunn. Like, you don't get 2 bigger, more accomplished indie guys than that as your first match
Oh
at
yeah.
a new promotion. And like, and not to like brag or get big on myself, but like I kind of killed it. Like
Yeah.
JT Dunn grabbed me after the match. He was like, dude, you did awesome. That was great. Thanks. So like that was like another time to like let me know like I do belong um at a certain level, you know. I'm like I'm
Yeah.
just trying to keep climbing the ladder and get better. Hopefully like this year and the next, you know, the future gets better and we get bigger and bigger. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yep. And we talk about the historical moments of like the buildings you've been in. Uh, Most recently that I've seen with you would be AXW when you were in the ring with Kevin Kelly, Ian Bush, Martin Stone, as they unveiled the new AXW championship, and you got to be there for that and referee that match.
Amazing, dude, amazing. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, the biggest WWF wrestlers of all time stood in that same spot.
Yep.
Kidding? Like that was amazing. And like gotta thank so many people, all the guys at AXW, Anthony, Kevin Kelly, um, Bob, Tim Hughes, all them guys that like allowed me to have that moment that I probably didn't deserve. Um, I was there, I came there just to help out another ref that was doing uh the rumble there, the autism rumble.
Hmm.
Um, Tommy Pro. I was there to be Tommy's backup and help him.
Yeah.
And, you know, ended up getting the opportunity to do that match. It was amazing. So thank you, AXW. Thank you, Kevin Kelly. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Anthony. All you guys. I appreciate you for letting me have that moment so much. Because that's another thing. It's like when you're standing where legends stand, it almost makes everything that you've done to get to that point 100% worth it. So
Yeah.
thank
Most definitely. At that the February show they had, we had Earl Hebner up there. I was with Kenny from KH Promotions, and they needed somebody to take pictures and hold the belt because we had the old Intercontinental Championship. So they let me get in the ring, and standing in the ring in the middle of all these people with Earl Hebner in the same exact spot, like you said, where Hogan, Piper, Savage, Warrior, Andre, all these people stood.
Yep.
I felt like I was 5 years old again. I just wanted to run the ropes and just do the little warrior shake,
Yeah, man, you got to. I mean,
yeah, it was an adrenaline rush for sure.
that's why we do this. That's why we do it. Like everybody gets influenced by something and or someone from their childhood that makes them want to do this. It's the
Yep.
same thing for me, man. Been watching wrestling since I was 3 years old. My dad was like an incredible two-sport athlete when he was in high school and college. My dad loves all kinds of sports. But Saturday mornings, he would get up because he'd let my mom sleep because she worked overnights.
Mhm.
And me and him would get up. He'd turn on the TV. He'd lay on the couch with his paper, and he would put wrestling on because it was the only thing on. And he knew that I would get entertained, and I'd play with my like He-Man action figures and watch wrestling. And that's how I fell in love with it. Saturday mornings, watching WWF Superstars and the WCW replay from Saturday Night Wrestling. Um, you know, that's the stuff that molds you and makes you want to do this.
Yeah. So I'm going to hit you with a two-parter here. Talking about all the legends of the past and stuff. This is going to be a two-parter. So, what current wrestler that you haven't refereed for would you love to referee their match?
What current wrestler?
It can be on the independents. It can be on TV. Whatever you like.
Hmm. Um. Wow, this is such a tough question. Um, you know, I would really like to ref a Nick Gage match. I've been on shows with Nick
Hmm.
a couple times with On Point, and you could say I don't know what the general consensus is because I'm not really like an internet Twitter follower. Like I'm on it
Hmm.
to promote stuff, but I don't
Yeah,
go
Twitter's
in for like the
successful.
gossip.
Yeah.
But Nick Gage has never been nothing but cool as fuck to me. Um, he's always had good, constructive things to tell me about being a ref, what I should be doing, how to be better, the things to look for. And he has a presence like nobody else. I mean, the closest in that whole Jersey scene is kind of like Tremont has like almost the same, but
Hmm.
nobody grips the whole crowd the way Nick Gage does.
Yeah.
And I would definitely really like to do one of his matches before he hangs it up. Just because, um, just to show him like I was listening. Those few handful of times that he kind of like put his arm around me and gave me advice and things to think about while I'm reffing. So
Yeah.
that's my answer for that.
All right. And the second part of that question, what former wrestler, living, deceased, whatever, would you have loved to referee for?
Wow. Fuck. That is another crazy one. Because there's so many. I mean, you can think of like the obvious and just go for like my favorite wrestler, but like, um, you're really making me think tonight. um, I am gonna go and say Terry Funk.
That's
Uh,
probably the best answer you could have given. That's a fucking good one.
I think that when I was growing up and he was like 50 years old and killing himself in
Yep.
ECW and like hanging with the young guys in the ring and like showing them what's up and showing the fans what the fuck is up.
Yeah.
Like that dude he is wrestling. Terry Funk
Oh yeah.
is fucking wrestling. Like
Just
I
to the
that that
exact
that's
point.
yep. Yeah, for sure. He like nobody did it the way he did. Nobody made you believe that he was out of his mind the way he did.
Yeah.
Some people maybe in a different way, but I'd go Terry Funk.
That's a good one. What was he? 50, 55, 56 years old when he did that triple threat with Shane Douglas and Raven?
54, I believe.
54 years old. He hits a moonsault off the ladder. Nobody can do it like Terry Funk. I think if you put Terry Funk in a pair of trunks now, I think he'd go out there and do it. Like,
Hey,
even
man.
despite all the health issues, man, he would go crazy.
Larry Sabisco once said on Nitro, the pyramids fear two things, time and Terry Funk, because he just never going to go away.
Yeah. Yeah, Terry is a true living legend. I absolutely love Terry Funk. I seen a picture recently with him and Mick Foley is my all-time favorite.
Sure.
I got Mick Foley and Undertaker as my top two, but go ahead.
Got a story for you about them. So, at the Franklin Mills Mall in Northeast Philly, there used to be a video stand where they would sell videos of wrestling videos, deathmatch tapes from Japan, WWF pay-per-views, tons of indie stuff. And they would have signings every once in a while. And in early 97, right as Mick Foley was leaving ECW to go to WWE to be Mankind, they brought Mick Foley and Terry Funk. I went by myself. I waited in line for 4 hours. I got to the front of the line. I said, "Hello, Mr. Foley," because he was first and he was eating a slice of pizza. And I pointed at the picture that I wanted, and he goes, "What's your name?" And I was like, "John." And I must not have said it loud enough. And I said it into like his deaf, broke half of an ear. Wrote, "To Joe, best wishes, Mick Foley." And I didn't notice till I was like already past him, and I was just like, whatever. So then I slide over to Terry Funk, and I'm wearing the Cactus Jack Wanted Dead t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Hello, Mr. Funk. It's an honor. Thank you." And I pointed at the picture that I wanted. And he just like looked me up and down, like gave me this weird, like, all right. And he's like, "What's your name, son?" And I was like, "John." And he writes, "To John, stay out of jail, Terry Funk." What the fuck were you thinking, Terry? What made me have you think to write "stay out of jail"? I've thought about it literally for 25 years. No idea. But it was cool as shit. Terry Funk's the best ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have an 8x10 like that. Not from Terry. I have it from Heath Slater.
Nice.
We had him up for an event, and I was supposed to do a navigation in the car. And, Philadelphia is a little wonky.
Sure.
So we picked him up from the airport, and there was a road that forked off in two different directions. Now, this road, both directions were the same name. I don't remember the name of the road, but they both pointed different directions, both had the same name. I said, "You got to turn here." He said, "Which one do you turn on?" I said, "I don't know. GPS doesn't tell me. It just says turn here." So we turn, GPS says rerouting, and after that, Heath was on my ass all weekend. And when it came time to do it, he wrote an 8x10 for me. It says, "To Matt, quit fucking up. Goddamn. Oh, baby, love Heath Slater." It's my favorite 8x10 that I own.
That's awesome.
Definitely one of the highlights. So this Saturday, let me pull this up on the screen real quick. This Saturday, for those who don't know, AXW Summer Vacation, historic Hamburg Fieldhouse. You can come see this man right here do what he does best, and that is count a mean ass 3 count on somebody.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be a good show.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm gonna be there. I haven't heard anything from those guys.
Okay.
But so, Kevin Kelly, if you'd like me to come help you out, just give me a holler. But yeah, I wish them all the best of luck. They've got a big fan fest coming up too in the next couple months. But I hope that's a great show because they have a lot of great talent there.
Damn, man, I was excited. I thought you were going to be there. I got real excited now. Now I feel like an ass. Like,
no, it's okay, man. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You didn't know. There was just a lot of refs there the last show, so
yeah.
I think we're just gonna cycle somebody in and give somebody else an opportunity. But I'm always willing to go and work there or anywhere else. So if you're there and you talk to any of those guys, tell them you want to see me there again.
All right, well, I definitely will. I'll be there Saturday, probably bright and early because they want me to do volunteer work. So I'm like, let's go. Like,
There you
so,
go.
so I'll definitely put in a good word for you. I'd love to see you back.
Appreciate
You still do PPW, correct?
Absolutely. I'll be at the next PPW show. I just did their show last weekend in Slatington at the Slatington Expo Center.
Yep.
Got to do the main event. Wrecking Ball Gursky, The Patriot, Tom Mitchell. They took on, who did they take on? The Closers and Mr. Lucky, Mr. Good Luck.
Oh, yep, Sam Adams, yep.
Sam Adams. That was an awesome match, super fun, a lot of fun, really good stuff. And then I also did the three-way, Adrian Soriano, Nolan Pierce, and what's that dude's name? Bando.
Stroke, right?
No, he was in the
okay.
five-way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not great with names. It's been a while since I've been to a PPW show. They moved up to Slatington, and I'm like, because it used to be right in my backyard, literally 10 minutes from my house, and now Slatington's like an hour away, and I'm like,
but dude, the new venue is so awesome.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures. It looks fantastic.
So big, and it's the highest ceiling. I like the Broadhoudsville spot, but this place blows it out of the water.
Yeah. Well, you want to let the people know where they can find you over the next couple of weeks? We talked about your PPW. Any place else you got coming up in the next couple of weeks? People can come out and see you do what you do best.
July 1st is going to be Battleground at the ECW Arena. After that, I believe the following 2 Sundays from then, in the middle of July, will be CZW down in Maryland. September 22nd is going to be Twisted Metal, CZW's Twisted Metal. It's going to be a death match show in a junkyard in Deptford, New Jersey. What else? 5-Star Wrestling will be back. They're going to be running on the 1st as well. I won't be at that show, but I'll be at the next show in August and September. Just check my social media at John A. Rankin 4 on Twitter, Ref Johnny Rankin on Facebook, Ref Rankin 215 on Instagram. I'm usually on promoting the stuff that I'm doing. Feel free to hit me up, talk to me. Like, I'm pretty accessible. I like talking to people and fans and everyone. So definitely get at your boy.
Well, there you go, folks. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Wrestling All Day podcast, and I want to give a big shout out. Thank you so much again for doing this. Like I said, I've had a lot of guests on the show, but this is you and Ed the last couple of days. You guys have been my favorite guests. You guys have so many amazing stories, and you're just so easy to talk to.
Dude, thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, it's my second podcast I've ever been on. You've been a great host. I love talking about wrestling and everything. So let's do it again sometime.
Oh, most definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Wrestling All Day podcast with referee Johnny Rankin. I'm your host, Matty Smackdown, signing off. Peace out, guys. Thank you again, Johnny.
Thank you. Appreciate it.